Hey friends, I'm Steph from cheapskatecook.com, and today I want to give you eight tips for saving money on Thanksgiving. So a lot of these aren't necessarily saving money on the Thanksgiving meal, but how to really maximize the savings like long term by using the Thanksgiving sales. So obviously this is for my American friends who are celebrating Thanksgiving right now. If you're in Canada, then you can use these next year. But I'm really excited to share these with you because these tips like literally saved us when we were broke and we were living on $25 a week. I think at one point it was $35 a week because we had to increase. But we were using these tips every year to kind of get us through the winter so that we could eat really, really well. And that just made Thanksgiving even more exciting. So I'm going to share these 8 tips with you on how to maximize the savings around Thanksgiving to fill your freezer with some good real food. And the first thing that I want to remind you to do is to clean out your freezer. So for some of you guys, cleaning out the freezer is a whole big shebang. We tend to overfill our freezers. And then when all the Thanksgiving sales happen, then we're like, now I need to find a place to fit my turkey, and it's huge and there's no room in the freezer. So I want to highly encourage you to use the next couple of weeks to clean out your freezer. Don't go to the grocery store unless you can help it, and just get everything that's in your freezer and just try to use it. And that way, when all the Thanksgiving sales or like the post-Thanksgiving sales happen at the grocery store, you can go ahead and fill that freezer with some good real food, and that way you're saving money and you're eating healthy, and you didn't waste the food that was in your freezer, because we all know what happens to some food that sits in the bottom of the freezer, right? It just goes bad, it gets gross, we look at it and we're like, I don't even remember what this is anymore, so then we just throw it away. And that's basically throwing your dollars down the drain. So I don't want you to do that. So the next couple of weeks, clean out your freezer. That's one of the things that we're doing right now. We are not going to the grocery store unless we absolutely have to for like lettuce or something like that. And that way our freezer is nice and empty by the time those turkeys go on sale. So turkey is one of my favorite things that goes on sale on Thanksgiving because first, it is dirt cheap. Now, when we were really broke, then we just bought the cheapest of the cheapest turkeys that we could find. And I think this was a couple of years ago, and the cheapest that we could find was like at Walmart. And I think it was, I want to say 27 cents a pound or something ridiculous like that. And so I was like, yes, please. And I would buy 3, 4, 5 turkeys, however many I could fit in my freezer. And then we ate off of those for the next couple of months, like basically through the end of winter. I would love to hear from you, all of you guys who are joining me, if you have any favorite Thanksgiving deals that you get around this time. If there's anything that you stock up on or anything like that, let me know in the comments. And so then after we got as many turkeys as we could because they were so cheap. I wanted to tell you organic turkeys, okay? So I try to buy organic meat. I think this is very important for the environment. I think this is important for our health. We try to eat less meat in general, especially of the conventional stuff, and we try to eat more organic meat. And this is not very budget friendly, and so you've got to kind of find some ways to MacGyver your grocery budget and your food so that you can eat the good meat if that's important to you and still stay very budget friendly. And so Thanksgiving is the perfect time to do that because a lot of the organic turkeys, even though they are still more expensive than the conventional, that's pretty much always going to be the case, they are also at their like rock bottom price. So go ahead and try your favorite stores that carry organic turkey and go like the day after Thanksgiving, or if you're afraid they're gonna sell out, go ahead, they're gonna go on sale in the next week or two, so go ahead and hit those and stock up if you can. I think a good price is $3 a pound where I live. And then sometimes after Thanksgiving, if they still have them, then they'll go down even cheaper. And depending on what you eat for Christmas dinner, Thanksgiving, post-Thanksgiving time is a great way to stock up on your food for Thanksgiving. So like my family will eat Thanksgiving basically twice. We have Thanksgiving style food on Thanksgiving, and then we have the same kind of thing at Christmas. And so we go ahead and buy the Christmas turkey right around that time. And then the next food, I'm just going to go through all the different foods that we tend to stock up on around Thanksgiving and how we make sure that they last as long as possible. And so the next food is sweet potatoes. And sweet potatoes are one of my favorite vegetables, root vegetables, carbs, whatever you want to call them. They're one of my favorites, and they will last a pretty long time in your pantry, but not that long. So in order to make them last even longer, especially if you're going to go ahead and use them in like mashed sweet potatoes or like sweet potato casserole or something like that, you can stock up on them, and then you can bake or boil a whole bunch of them at once and then put them in like a gallon-sized freezer bag, and they will stay in your freezer for, months and months and months and months. It'll last you all winter. And then that way you already have the sweet potatoes cooked, and all you have to do is thaw them, and then if you're doing like sweet potato casserole, you can just add a little bit of sweetener, you can add the topping, easy peasy, and that way you're getting the best possible price. Sweet potatoes go so cheap over Thanksgiving, so I always try to stock up on that. Same with potatoes. Potatoes, you can do the exact same thing as you can with sweet potatoes, okay? So you go ahead and boil, bake them, freeze them, and then it'll be even easier when you go to cook them later on. Baking supplies are also on sale. Thank you. I thought that was kind of a good sweet potato hack. Baking supplies are also on sale, so they're happening now, and a lot of times stores will even have like displays of all of their baking supplies, and you got to be careful because they have a lot of like very Christmassy themed or like convenience baking supplies. So a lot of colored frosting, a lot of brightly colored sprinkles, a lot of mixes, that kind of thing. I'm not talking about those sales. Yes, those are a pretty good price right now. And if that's what you eat, then go ahead and stock up on that. But if you're looking for real food, you'll still want to go into the main baking sections. And a lot of things are going to be on sale now in there too, but they're just, not as many people are looking for the quick fix. So cream of tartar, I always stock up on cream of tartar. I know some of you are like, what do you even do with cream of tartar? Snickerdoodles. Snickerdoodles are the best cookie on the planet, and they call for cream of tartar. You can also use cream of tartar and baking soda to make a baking powder substitute. So we do this all the time. It works great, especially if you are like gluten sensitive or celiac or something like that. Sometimes baking powder has gluten in it, and so you use baking soda, cream of tartar, and you've got a clean, safe baking powder substitute. So cream of tartar, spices, all the wintry spices like nutmeg and cloves and pumpkin pie spice, all those things are on sale right now. You can get specialty items like a while back I showed on my stories different items at Aldi that are on sale right now, like sprinkles for Christmas cookies, which is great because Aldi does not use artificial colors in their products. So if you are trying to avoid artificial colors, which you probably should, but I get it if we're not all there yet, then you can find them at Aldi. It's easy, no problem, it's not expensive at all, which is great because I've known a lot for a long time about artificial colors, but none of us really reacted badly to them as far as we could tell. So that just wasn't a priority until Aldi started carrying them, and then I was like, yes, always sprinkles at Aldi. So cocoa powder, chocolate chips, all those things. Start looking for the stores for those because those are shelf stable and you can get enough to last the whole year. Chocolate chips will last for a long time in the freezer, so just stock up on those things if that's the kind of stuff that you buy. Apples and Brussels sprouts are also on sale right now. And then let's talk about this guy right here, okay? So this is a butternut squash, and this is also a great pumpkin substitute. So we all have, we all kind of have our pumpkin pie tradition, and pumpkin pie is delicious. But if you are trying to avoid canned ingredients, or like, you're trying to only get organic, and the organic, for whatever reason, if you're not buying the canned pumpkin at the store and you want to get like a real pumpkin, get a butternut squash instead for a couple of reasons. First, butternut squash is almost always cheaper than pumpkin. And second, it tastes the same, if not sweeter. Butternut squash is very, very sweet. It's delicious. It's one of the best like pumpkin substitutes out there. And here's a fact. Pumpkin puree that you buy at the grocery store is not all pumpkin, because pumpkin itself is pretty bland. It actually doesn't taste very good by itself. And so they put other squash in there, like butternut squash, to make it taste good and sweet. So if that's something that you want to try this year, highly recommend getting a butternut squash instead of pumpkin. It's really easy to cook butternut squash. You can look it up online, and then you just substitute it into any pumpkin recipe. You don't have to do anything special. You just use the butternut squash instead of the pumpkin, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be one of your best pumpkin pies ever. So the other thing is anything else that you see going on sale around Thanksgiving, if that's what you eat for Christmas, or who's gonna complain about having Thanksgiving meal more than once in a winter, I go ahead and stock up on those too. So stuffing is one. I like to buy just the bags of stuffing because it's the most delicious stuffing ever, and we only eat it at Thanksgiving and Christmas. And so I go ahead and buy Christmas's stuffing right around Thanksgiving when it's the best price possible. And then also things like cranberries are gonna be on sale, or cranberry sauce and stuff like that. So I hope these tips kind of give you some direction in the next couple of weeks on ways to save the most money with the Thanksgiving sales and focus a lot on the real food. It's really easy to focus on the cookies and the sweet things and the candy and the desserts during Christmas. But remember, in January, we're gonna all want to start eating like sweet potatoes and healthy stuff again. So you can use the Thanksgiving sales to help you save more money in January, okay? All right, I hope this helps you, and thank you for joining me, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I will answer them. Have a good day.